Let's start with Dogman, shall we? I have to put Dogman C. I think last season he was inconsistent the first half of the season. Then he got better after. He was actually pretty good, I would say, after the second half of season 2. I was excited to see if he was going to bring that into this season, but it was just really inconsistent majority of the season. The last month he actually got really good, but it was like it was late. It was way too late to get good at that moment. But at least he got good, but it was rough for him. All of Atlanta was underwhelming. A lot of Atlanta was underwhelming. But I think Dogman didn't perform this season, unfortunately. Maybe he will next season, wherever team that will be. Maybe he'll get re-signed. I think his Ana was alright. His Zen was alright this season. His BAP was actually not that bad, but it was very hard for. It's really hard to perform on Atlanta this season in general. Shu, I think Shu's top tier for sure. It's always fun to watch Shu. I may move him to S just because of how good he is. He actually saves Guang's out charge so many times in fights. It's crazy. His BAP has been insane. He always like windows with himself, and he gets like 2 or 3 kills. His BAP's crazy. His cooldown usage is crazy on BAP. His heals are up there. His damage is up there. He's one of the better off-sports in the league. Shu S tier honestly carries charge, and you never see him make incorrect play. I mean, yeah, 100%. I get that. He does slave the charge a lot. I may move him to S for sure, but we'll see. Repel's also interesting one. See at Max. Yeah, I think there's performances he does perform B. He's definitely between B and C though. Repel extremely average. Yeah, I would say so. I would definitely say he's pretty average this season. His Ana was pretty decent this year. His Zen didn't really impress me a lot this season. His Zen and Ana are decent, but his BAP was terrible. Yeah, I'm gonna put him C. He didn't really perform that good this season. I thought he was because I had really high hopes for him coming into the season. Because obviously off of Vancouver, and when he did play on Vancouver, they were pretty good games actually from Repel. But coming into Houston, I think he could. No, that's still too close. I think he could do what he had on Houston, but his BAP still wasn't good. You can't ignore that. His Zen was alright. His honest sleeps are clean though. Lastro's major underrated. Majorly underrated. Not as good as Shu though. Not as good as Shu. I knew coming into the season it was going to be great for Lastro because of how good he was on Sky Foxes and almost every other team he's played in contenders. One of the better off sports. It still surprised me LA Valiant was the only team looking at Shu. I mean, not Shu, at Lastro. But, I mean, hey, at least they got him. I think he could be insanely good on maybe another team. I think Lastro's solid. I don't really have anything bad to say about him. He may have had 1 or 2 bad games. I can't pinpoint which one. But I do think, I do remember he did have maybe 1 or 2 bad games. His Ana was so good. I remember, like, near the end of the season, he got so many, like, massively huge nades that saved LA Valiant. His sleeps are always the important targets, and he also always gets them a lot. Crimzo, I think Crimzo's also solid. He's B. Still pretty underrated, honestly. His Ana's clean. His Zen's been clean ever since he touched the game, honestly. His BAP's been pretty good. I wouldn't say he's had as big as nades as Lastro and Shu though. His motor is goated. Yeah, every time Crimzo calls, he gets like 4 or 5 kills. It feels like. Crimzo was good this season. I really feel bad for the guy that he got hate at the beginning of the season. I still don't understand where that hate came from. I really don't. Sad he got dropped. Hopefully he finds a team. Hopefully he does. Hopefully it's one of the Canadian teams too for Crimzo because those 2 teams, mostly Vancouver, needs an upgrade in off sports. Consistent all season long. I don't think he had maybe 1 or 2 bad performances, maybe 3, but Crimzo was clean all season long on Ana, on Zen, BAP too. He's good. Gangnamjin, I don't think Gangnamjin is S tier. Maybe if one of you guys can convince me, but I think Gangnamjin is like almost there. He is almost there to S tier. He is so close to it, but he brings some inconsistencies to sometimes, but he's still like whenever that inconsistent game's up or inconsistent like moment is up, he brings that game really close. He gets clean nades that are game changing like almost all the time on Ana. He has a lot of good Zen moments. His map's clean. Big upgrade for Florida, absolutely. He's a good off sport. He's so close to being S tier though. He's so close. This gets a little more consistent, better. All right, consistent on all off sports, and he's going to probably be S tier. Fielder, ooh. I knew Fielder was good. I knew he was going to be good as soon as he got signed, but I did not get. I mean, I was surprised how good he performed. I do not agree with Fielder on B. I agree. I say A. And the fact that he deals with what he has, or S in general, I think he is better than Gangnamjin. With the ping he has and how he performs, game-saving like sleeps as well, he has a lot. Dude, Fielder performs at a high level with ping. And I think if he got off of ping, he could easily be S tier. I think we can stick with that. I think Fielder's good. I think Fielder's really good. When he came to the Overwatch League, like I said already, I did not expect him to perform as much as he did when he got signed, but he's insane. Rolf, all right. As chat says, I look like Rolf, but do I need to say any more about Rolf? I think I've talked way too much about Rolf, of why he's F tier. Position, he's poor. Cooldown usage is poor. Ana is poor. He doesn't really get any nades. I think he got like 1 or 2 this season. Never really sleeps important targets. I do gotta say his team does not really peel for him as much, which makes him also look kind of bad. Alarm, I knew coming into the season he was going to be insane. He actually performed better than I thought he would, to be honest. I was a little bit worried for Alarm coming into this season, but he performed on every support he played, even on, you know, Brig, on Ana, Zen. He was scary on all of them. Hit insanely good nades on Ana, Rookie of the Year as well. He deserves the awards he got. Did I just see B overrated in chat? Alarm is an insanely good player. Definitely not overrated. Myunbong. Now, I may have a hot take with Myunbong. I think he's F. Because, no, joking, he's not F. I think he honestly may be A. I thought he was going to stay in B because of what he had. But whenever I finished my first tier list, he performed so much better than I thought he could with the resources he had on Bdosin Uprising. He ended up actually performing a lot better than I thought he was on the main here off sports. I'm annoying myself saying the same things over and over again with like Ana. His Zen, he really is only good at Ana, I should say. He pops off a lot on Ana. His Zen's alright. Zen's good, but not as good as his Ana. His BAP's good, but not as good as his Ana. But we really saw Myunbong play like Ana 80 to not 85% of the season. So I think he was good. He does a good job of nades, good positioning that he can do with Bdosin Uprising. I think he is either A or B, absolutely. I think Myunbong may move down to B again, but Myunbong's crazy. Violet, go look at his stats. Just look at Violet's stats. If I see anyone say A, you're on something. You're on something. Look at his stats. 1 on everything. Probably has peak B in the DPS tier. I saw some people joke about that in the comments of my DPS tier list. I mean, sure, go for it. This guy is crazy on damage, healing too. With all that damage he has, he gets transit so fast. Positioning's clean. Insanely good. He can probably bring that to any team in general. Probably the best off support in the Overwatch League we have right now. Shaz, another weird one to rank. Do we have anyone in D tier yet? I don't think Shaz is A. I would say either B or C for sure. I don't know if this is a hot take, but I think Crimzo performed better than Shaz this season. I'm gonna put him B because B is just better than Dogman and Repel. That's why he's gonna go B. I mean, it wasn't a good season for him, but he still performed like at a solid level, I would say. Not as good as his previous seasons on off sports. His Zen had moments. His Ana had moments. His BAP had some moments. I wouldn't say a lot, but in general, he's around. Flexport's just a stack roll in a watch league. It is. Kariv's another weird one too because I feel like he fell off after the first half of the season. But, like, he's still like the bright spot on Toronto. Like, absolutely still the bright spot. He's better than Dogman and Repel. Is he another B? I don't think he's as good as Gangnamjin. Honestly, Fielder. I don't think he is. I think he's gonna be B as well. Gosh, are we gonna have anyone in D? I think Kariv still brings like the aggressive playstyle he's had on every team. It was just hard to bring that to Toronto after the team they had. But I think Kariv's still a solid off sport. Let's move on to AimGod. He performed good in playoffs and grand finals, but let's talk about the entire season. I feel like a lot of people forget this is the entire season. I may want to put him C because yes, he performed good in the playoffs, but the whole season long it was just poor and poor performances. AimGod's B or C. I think he's C. He just had so many poor performances. He wanted to go out and do his own thing so many times, it just would never work. Molly. I think Molly, honestly, is not awful. I think he may be C. Maybe B. I think Molly has potential, actually, a lot. He's very underrated for the Chengdu Hunters, I'm going to be honest. I remember when I first watched him, I was like, this guy has potential. Why are they keeping him out? I don't think he's A. I see a lot of saying A. I don't think he's A. I think we can keep Molly in B. I think, what is this? I think we can keep Molly in B. Is the tier list in order also? No, it's not in order. All my tier list, my tier list will never have an order, by the way. It will never have an order. It will all be just general tiers. Bebe was also, I'd say, pretty alright this season. I kind of want to put him B. I was thinking, like I said already, I think he was still solid. He was shaky, I do gotta say. Definitely not as good as his season 2 days. I don't think he's as good as Crimzo. I don't think he's as good as Lastro. Keo. Wait, who's going to be in D tier? I think we may need to move people down. I think Molly's better than Keo. I think was Keo going to be our first D tier? Molly was better when it came to the off sports. Not better than AimGod. Yeah, I would say that. JJoNak. JJoNak was not as insane this year. I think I'm going to put him A though. I don't think he's S tier, unfortunately, anymore. Because the level of the league has gone up so much of Ossports, of Violet, and Alarm this season. It's been crazy. But he did have a rough season this year. But he still performed, though. He still performed on, like, Zen and, like, Ana and BAP occasionally. But I still think JJoNak had a decent season. Bdosin. I did not expect this tier list to be hard, but this tier list is hard. What the heck? I think Bdosin had moments this season. I didn't think he was, like, awful, I would say. He's definitely C or B. Definitely not A. Definitely not D. But I think when he did play, he actually performed pretty decently well. He had great positioning and great cooldown usage. I feel like a lot of people have kind of ignored that from Bdosin. His good subs outsold as good. Yeah, I mean, I do gotta say creative is better than Bdosin by a lot. I'm thinking C though. I'm looking at the people above him, and I think they're kind of a bit better, to be honest. Is Yaki? He performed pretty good throughout this entire season. Where do I place him? He's obviously SRA. A. Is Yaki's Zen's pretty good. His BAP was alright. His Ana had a lot of good moments as well. We have Twilight next. Every time he did play this season, it was insanely good. Does the chat cover that up? Every time he's played this season, he performed really well. His stats were #1 every time he did play, beside Violet. That was majority of the time he did play. Was with Violet in double off sport kind of meta with BAP and Ana, BAP and Zen. Every time he played was actually pretty clean. I wish he played majority of the season. Hopefully he goes to a different team. Highly. I think Kylie's BAP's good. His Zen was alright. His Ana was alright. He played a lot of BAP this season compared to other off sports. I think we're gonna put him C. Yeah, I think C feels about right. He had a good BAP, really. His Zen was alright. Creative. Now creative is better than Bdosin. Absolutely. His Ana, clean. Clean Ana player for the Seoul Dynasty. Absolutely. It blows me away that they just did not play creative a majority of the season. It blows me away. I wish he did. Obviously, when they tried him out the first start of the season, Bdosin probably looked better. No, Bdosin did look better than creative. But his Ana came in. His Ana was clean. Better than Bdosin. This may be it. I think this may be the list, chat. I don't know. I really I want to put Myunbong at A. I think this is it. Chat, what do we think of this list? What do we think of it? I think this may be it.